Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back. Cool, cool.
I'm gonna pull up my Twitch chat then. I'll let my boys, my stream boys, know. I'm in much of the same position, man. It's just nice, man. I had a while of like about 10 average on my streams, and I had some subscribers and some followers, but like I haven't streamed in like a month. It's just I've been so busy with like creative projects and shit that it just becomes like a, you know, like shit. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna. I'm. Oh yeah, that's some keystroke mechanical clicking, some clickety clacking that keyboard. Now I'm just letting my. I don't fucking know, dude. I bought this thing. That's all I did with it. In fact, Omni scammed my ass on this thing because I asked him. He's more into keyboards and shit. I don't really care. I just wanted a nice, like, sturdy keyboard that I'd be able to keep for a long time. So I asked him, recommend me a keyboard. He sends me a site. He says this keyboard's cash. It's credit. It's all you'll ever need. So I think, sick. I'll just get it. I mean, I forgot the name at this point, but I bought the thing because I had the money. I had like a steady job at the time, so it really wasn't. Well, I quit on my own terms. It was a call center job. It sucked. I hated it. So yeah, sucks ass, dude. It sucks ass. I worked at KPN, and it just woo, I hated it. I was customer retention. It was the worst goddamn thing. Like, old grannies calling to say that their husbands died and they forgot to cancel the subscription, and then me telling them, yeah, that sucks, granny, but you do have to pay 1 month extra. But if you want, we can, get you a new subscription for all this kind. No, I hate it. I couldn't do it. Either way, at the time I had the money, so I thought, fuck it. Don't think about it. Treat yourself. Get a nice keyboard. And it arrives. You know what my escape key says? My escape key. Fuck you. No, my escape key says a shop, which is worse. This is a French keyboard, which means the layout is AZERTY, and it's a nightmare. Like all the wrong symbols are on it. Like my one has an ampersand underneath it. My two has an E with an accent on it. Mm. Yes, mine says that. Insert and super and fin and all that French nonsense and a shop, and it's like, shit, I can't handle this. I mean, oh yeah, I like stickers too. My Chromebook, wherever the hell it is, I don't really use it often enough. Yeah, I needed it at the time, but that's weird. I can hear him on Discord. don't worry about not hearing Jay. He's talking mad trash anyway. I like the snake. Get out of here, homie. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's good shit. You need to look. I got that thing right here. I got my key remover. Oh damn! Is it a problem that you can tell? Well, Jay was talking. For those of you who weren't able to hear, Jay was talking about this new expensive hobby, which is custom mechanical keyboards. I've been. I still wouldn't call myself a figure collector, but I pretty much am at this point. I got like stacks of them.
Check. All right. Omni should be able to hear me now.
And the worst part about it is every new series I get into, I'm like, oh, time to get on Amazon and get showing him figures.
But I figured out what was wrong. Apparently, Streamlabs was not picking up my mic. It was disabled for some reason, but now it should be. Everyone should be able to hear me.
Oh, it's picking it up. It's picking it up. Yo, what's up, C4?
I am back. We streaming.
Yeah, we live.
Sorry, I was gonna say, are we streaming our audio, visual to Discord? Yeah.
Yeah. Just do your webcam through Discord. I'm still waiting on Kuba to show up. So your webcam will be a little cut in the middle.
Yeah, talking about expensive hobbies, man. Meth.
Oh my god! Wow, I don't think we are allowed to talk about that on stream because Twitch TOS. But
don't worry, they won't pick me up. I only said it once; they never caught me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to delete the VOD from last time because I said something that was not very legal. Something about Cyberpunk.
Oh, I lost like 8 VODs because I used to have song request on. So I
had to download the VOD before because I've been so busy the last few weeks. I haven't even had the time to edit and upload the last podcast. So I still need to do that. But yeah. So I said something about like Cyberpunk 2077 last show. And because of that, I kind of had to delete the VOD. Wait, hold on. Why is C4 in my spot? That is...
Why are you in my spot?
Yo, what is
guys.
this?
I ruined everything.
No, it's fine. C4 was like, yo, that webcam spot needs more democracy. So he was like, I'm gonna democracy the fuck out of that webcam.
Get ratioed.
Yeah. And now PanZerPan, it needs to...
Am I back?
Now because Kuba is not here, you need to scoot a little bit to the left. Or to...
Oh, boy.
Or, no, it's other left.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Scoot over to the right. If I get in front of my Dio and Jotaro panels, then I
need to add.
You can see me. This works.
I need to add Kuba because he's not here yet. But we got plenty to talk about. Oh, just as I say it, the man is
there
here.
we go.
Oh my god, and he is taking Pan's spot again. There's the man Kuba. How you doing, man?
I'm chilling, man. You Beetlejuiced me into existence. You said my name a couple times, and here I am.
I think I said it like 3 times. That's how it goes, right?
That's the rule.
Say Kuba's name 3 times on stream, he appears.
Anybody says my name 3 times, I show up and say Blue Gogeta sucks. That's just me.
I love Blue Gogeta, man. Why you gotta do my man? I'm
sorry that you made a bad choice in your life.
Actually, no. I've caught so many people with that 2M. It's insane.
Spring Coil 2M.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about Gogeta, but not that one.
We're going to talk about different Gogetas.
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good, man, though. Thank you for having me on.
Dude, thank you for coming on the show, man. So it's super sick. We got... Oh, that's a little bit big, but we need that so we can get Kuba's beautiful face.
Oh, let me...
Should we call you Kuba, or is there another name you want to go by?
You can just call me Kuba. Everybody in the FGC already does. Literally, not even at tournaments. Like, we'll be out to dinner and everybody just calls me Kuba, so... Let me pick up the blinds on that window, though, so I don't...
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, it's you're from the... Oh, now it's all switched up again. This is awkward. Now PanZerPan is Kuba. That's all right. I mean...
I think it would change back once his camera's back on.
All right, there we go.
Should
you're golden. But yeah, thank you so much, man. You're not the first US guest we've had. The first we've had was I Super Shadow, who goes by Shadow Who Laughs now. He was a cool guest, but you're the first pro US guest we've had.
Shadow was from Canada.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So you are the first US, but not the first NA. But you are the first US guest we've had on. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
The first USer. Okay.
You're the first Freedom Eagle.
Oh God, don't.
I just talked about C4 like when C4 turned on his webcam, he took my spot on the overlay. So I said C4 was like, yo, Jay's webcam spot needs some more democracy. So we're gonna.
You don't want me in charge of anything, honestly. It won't end well for anyone.
Leave this poor man alone.
You don't want to get me started. I taught politics in high school as a school teacher for a couple years. I don't.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into politics. Maybe okay. So we got 2 big topics I wanted to touch on. 3 if there's time left, because usually this show goes to 1 hour and 20 minutes. So that's 1 hour and 20 minutes from now minus 2 minutes. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about before we start the show is I want to talk, of course, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because we've not talked about him since he came out on this show. So of course I want to get your as our resident pro player, Kuba. I want to get your take on him. Of course, we've seen everyone's take so far, but of course on the show it's always a little bit different. And of course, a very big thing, not very Dragon Ball FighterZ related, but Evo being bought out by Sony and RTS is something I wanted to get into, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some things to talk about that. But yeah, we are complete. It is time. So does anyone say something off record before I start the show? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'm always on the record.
I mean, I know C4's favorite tool is violence, so.
That's a good tool. It's a very good tool.
It's Twitter violence.
It's optimal, man.
I mean, they say a good offense is the best defense.
Look,
the best offense is a chair.
If you calculate your mashing, you can beat any safe jump. All right, that's what I'm.
Anyways, yeah. Well, welcome everybody to the 8th episode of Trash Talkers, your bi-weekly, mostly Dragon Ball FighterZ focused podcast. But we all know Dragon Ball FighterZ is basically on his last leg, at least when it comes to developer support. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Dragon Ball FighterZ today because, of course, we got a new character added a week and a half ago. And as I said before, we're also going to talk about Evo being bought out by Sony and a company called RTS. We're going to talk about how that's going to look like for this summer's online Evo. But before we do that, we're going to introduce our lovely guest today. To the right of me, we got PanZerPan, returning host. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm seeing more JoJo representation than I'm used to in this podcast. I got the panel behind me and Kuba rocking the shirt, so I'm doing alright. I'm glad to be back on the show. I'm a big fan of Kuba. I honestly, dude, the first time I saw you, I was thinking, who is this man and why is he dabbing on his competitors in an actual tournament? And I instantly I looked you up on Twitter, instantly dropped a follow. I couldn't not.
Yeah, and of course returning, almost a regular at this point, C4IQ. How are you doing? How have you been?
Not too bad. Obviously, sticking around like a bad smell. Can't get rid of me. I'm here trying to up my streaming game. Pretty much it. Until Straff comes out, it's going to be trying to improve and lurk around in people's streams. It's pretty much me.
Yeah, as we said last time, you're basically more on other people's streams than you are on your own stream.
Yeah. It's fun that way.
At least your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we got our very special guest, hailing all the way from the US of the A, one and only Kuba. How you been, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just trying to keep sane when there's been 0 offline in a year, but still loving fighting games, breaking my hands. I just bought a new stick, and
I saw that one on Twitter. Yeah, sick. Nice. It's a cross-up, right?
Yeah. I'm ready to break my hands on it. The guy who built it for me, though, sent the actual stick part in a separate envelope, so I can't use it.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this man got a stick, but not the actual stick. Yeah,
not the stick part. Yeah, but I've been doing great, man. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a goofball. I dab a lot. I screamed in Tachikawa's face at first attack, and then he laughed. And then I used to play Hit, and now I've come to my senses, and now I play good characters. So that's my life.
Well, we got a great lineup today, and once again, thank you so much, Kuba, for showing up. I actually right before I got live, I actually watched your Marvel vs. Capcom video, and me as a person whose first fighting game was Ultimate MVC3, that hit hard. I loved it. So thank you so much, man. That video was awesome. For anyone who has not seen it,
I'm very much glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's Cooking with Jake on YouTube, right?
The reception's been very nice.
Yeah, your YouTube is Cooking with Jake, right, or is it Kuba as well?
My YouTube's just Kuba.
Okay.
I know I should make everything universal. I should probably make everything Kuba FGC, but I'm in too deep at this point. Why not?
I mean, you got to have a real life mix up somewhere.
Exactly. People just can't find my Twitter. So that's life.
But yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. For people that just tuned in, what we're going to talk about today, once again, we're going to touch on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and then we're going to talk about Sony buying out Evo, and if we got some time, I know Kuba and C4 have been dabbling into a little bit of a fighting game called Skullgirls, which has been around for, actually, I remember being 17, which is 8 years ago now. And me at age of 17 buying Skullgirls. So that game has been around for a while, but as of a couple months, that game has really got some steam behind it. So if there's some time in the show, we're going to talk about Skullgirls a little bit, because we're probably going to see a lot of overlap between the Dragon Ball FighterZ scene and Skullgirls scene in the coming weeks/months. But yeah, first things first, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, a character people thought was going to be brain dead, busted, dog turd, broken. but turning out not as bad as a lot of people thought it would be. At least from what I've played, I like him. He's a fun character. He's very unique, as have the last 3-4 characters been that got released in the Season 3 pass. But I also think he's going to be the last character of this game. But yeah, Kuba, I want to get your take, because you're, of course, like our resident pro player. Where do you see him in this game? Is he a good? How do you see that character?
It's so hard to judge where characters are specifically right now, because the landscape. We've been in a pandemic for a year. There hasn't been any offline events, so everybody's tier lists are all over the place. Like, people are rating certain characters higher, certain characters lower, and stuff like that. And Gogeta is an interesting character out of the sheer fact that he is the first character, I think, that can win with a different win condition in DBFC. And what I mean by that is, if you look at like all the best teams from like Season 2 or Season 1, they all followed pretty similar structure in how they won the game. They were hold you down, 50-50 you, snap loop you, kill you, right? Every single time. Like, Goichi and Kazunoko did that in the Season 1 World Finals. Like, the only person that ever moved away from that was always Fenrich, and that's just because Fenrich is nasty. Mm-hmm. Like, every other player was just snap looping, 50-50. Kazunoko made his entire Dragon Ball career out of Super Dash plus Gohan assist. Like, yep. It was just what you did. And it's crazy to me that for the first time, and it seems in what to be DBZ's history, is now that Gogeta can win just by playing neutral. He can just win straight out by playing only neutral. You just sit back, you run 2 neutral assists, and you just taunt 7 times, and now the next time you get a straight hit in neutral, the reward actually matters. Instead of knocking somebody down, and then they get locked down, and if your character has no 50-50s, then it doesn't matter. Because a lot of top players, if your character doesn't have a 50-50, they're just going to stand there and they're going to take it, and defense is so strong in DBFZ that it did not matter. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on if a player can really exploit that ability to just, like, look, he's a gimmick character, but it's a really good gimmick. It's a gimmick that is actually a win condition in itself, and it's a win condition that no other character in the game has had. So I don't think he's ever going to be widely played. I don't think he's going to be like a must-pick S-tier character, but I think he is going to be like a viable A-tier character for players that want to play him. I think Reynold is going to mop people up with that character. I think Chris G can absolutely do some stuff with that character. Like, it's a very specific kind of character for very specific players, but all in all, I think he is a solid pick and a solid addition to the game.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Cloud dabble with him a lot on his streams as of late. and I've seen that him enjoying the character a lot, and I do agree that level 7, it like the term I like to use, he kind of like Gogeta like breaks the game a little bit because his objective is, of course, everyone's objective is health bar reaches 0. That's your objective, but he gets like a side quest or like a big side quest. If he gets at level 7, you're shitting your pants because every single straight hit can lead into a kill. So I do think it also forces you once again. There's only a couple characters that do this. Gogeta forces you, the opponent, to play an entirely different game than what you want to play. I feel like you kind of need to not only kill Gogeta, but you also need to, like, whatever you can, stop him from reaching those levels.
I agree completely. The character plays the game in a completely different way, and that's been a great part of, like, because, like, look, you look back at the older seasons of Dragon Ball DLC, and you're like, season 1, everyone was kind of samey, and everybody was pretty, like, bare bones. Like, Bardock was insane, obviously, but, like, you don't look at Bardock's kit and you're like, wow, these are really new and creative tools to use. It's, oh, he has a lariat, and he 50-50s you off a lariat.
He just did things very well.
Yeah, he just played Dragon Ball FighterZ super well. Like, the only character that was, like, unique at all in season 1 was, like, Broly, and he was garbage at the beginning of the game because you could vanish and then M-punish him off anything.
Yeah.
But now in this season, we've got characters like UI Goku, and say what you want about UI Goku. I'm a firm believer that character didn't need touched. I thought that character was fine. I thought he was incredibly strong. I just didn't think he was top 5. Like, I think the Kid Boos and Gotenks of the world are stronger. Roshi, an amazing pick. I don't know why they nerfed the assist. The character was a 6 out of 10 when he was on screen. The assist was a 15 out of 10.
I was going to say, that was his thing, right? That assist.
Yeah, exactly.
Boshi assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was an amazing assist on a lackluster character. And I thought that was a great, like, function to put in DBFC because we don't have a lot of that right now. Like, the closest to that before was Nappa. And nobody's going to play Nappa for any reason.
C tier, by the way. Nappa C tier, by the way.
Okay, but he doesn't get it. I'd say Hit's on that as well, right? Hit A.
Yeah, Hit A is an amazing assist, but Hit is I think Hit is the most flawed, competitively viable character in the game right now. Like, if you know the matchup against Hit, then that character shouldn't be a threat to you at all. But if you don't know the matchup, that character's going to run a train on you. It's just, that's life, and it's like a lot of characters in other fighting games.
It's funny. We get the EU-US mix-up. Is that in the US Nappa's still a joke? And in the EU, we've got the Council of Nappas. That always teaches everybody not to underestimate that character.
Oh, and for sure. Like, I think that character is competitively viable this season. I just think, why would you play that character in a world where Kid Buu exists?
Yeah,
that is my argument.
It's never worth playing that character unless you like the character. The character's not bad, but why spend 2 hours labbing Nappa when you can spend half the time labbing an actually good character?
Exactly. Why would I need to lab and build an entire team around doing this amazing restand? And the best part about Nappa is the moment you get the hit, they're in the blender and you're gonna kill them. The problem is getting that hit. Like, the goal of playing Nappa is to never actually play Nappa neutral. It's to get to the point and skip that completely. And then if you do get that win condition, that's great. But getting that win condition is incredibly hard, especially now because you kind of have to run Baby with him, because then Baby just skips that neutral part. He plays neutral for you, does 6H, and then hits it.
So the thing I feel with Dragon Ball is at the beginning, Dragon Ball isn't a game where you can really have archetypes because they took away all the things that allow you to have character archetypes. So health values and mobility.
Yep.
The big bodies in that game basically move, like Mbu and GT Goku have the same mobility pretty much when it comes to, like, directions, right? And then you've got the health value, so you don't have glass cannons. So the game devolved, I want to say devolved purposely, it devolved into 50-50s because it doesn't matter how well you know a matchup, a 50-50 is still a 50-50. That's why there wasn't any point in picking Nappa when you can call Kid Buu assist in a block string. It made it not obsolete, but it made it like, why put in this effort unless you like the character to do so? Then the last couple of characters, Baby was cool because I feel he's the only character that had viable zoning. All the other zoners don't zone, or they're better at rush down, like Beerus. Beerus was a zoner at the start, then people were like, oh, they've buffed certain things in him, now we can apply pressure. Frieza can't zone because he doesn't get rewarded for it, and the timer doesn't allow him to zone. because there's no point in a game where you go, damn, Freeze is keeping me out, I have to rush in because it's 300 seconds. Like, it's just never going to happen. So zoners don't work. Baby can sort of zone to a degree. He gets decent rewards because he does massive damage, and he's got the whole S's coming back from off screen. What they've done with Gogeta, it feels like they had all these other tools they wanted to add to characters and went, damn, could be the last character we release. Let's just put it all on him. The main condition that you said, the level 7 is insane. His DP on whiff gets a Dragon Ball. Like, that's purposely for the mechanics of the game. He is an archetype of all the archetypes they didn't get time to put into the game. I think he's sick, but it's kind of like, again, it's always going to go back to what's the point? Because no matter how well you know a matchup, a 50-50 is a 50-50. It's interesting to watch Gogeta because of the ways he can win. Like Kuba said, he's the only character that goes, if I win neutral, I win. Most characters, it depends on your idea of neutral. Some people think neutral is making someone block as well. I don't think that's really winning neutral. It's good in this game to make someone block because you 50-50 them. But in most fighting games, winning neutral is hitting someone. If that's your game plan and you play Gogeta, you can easily get level 7 and just delete the character, which is a sick game plan because it doesn't revolve around mixing. And he's got the double air dash, which didn't really get shown in Golden Frieza because everyone saw the drawback of having to install to get in the first place. So it feels like Gogeta is everyone
to lose the game.
Like, Sorbet's not going to save you every time. He's just not. So they put all the fun stuff into Gogeta, which is good, but I think it was too late, man. They should have. The Dragon Ball aspect, having that as a win condition is kind of like a Frank West sort of mechanic. They should have put that in earlier, man. They should definitely, but it is where it is. But I like the aspects that he is like a Frank West sort of character where it's like, even though the game is, I must kill your characters, he does it in a different way to everyone else. Because everyone else is mixed. The zoners can't zone. The glass cannons aren't glass cannons. And the grapplers aren't grapplers. Maybe Barzy Broly. But they've all got the same mobility.
Broly's a zoner, though. That character is 100% a zoner with a command grab. Like,
well, I mean, like, archetypes in DBFZ are just fundamentally broken because everybody is rushed down in something. You know, rush down and zoner.
Rush down and do you have a 50-50?
Yeah, rush down and be a 50-50.
It's like archetypes. There's just play styles.
Yeah, it's why in DBFZ you don't see like a player like Fab. You know, like Fab, like Potemkin in Exarch. You know, he's trash. But you see someone like Fab with him, and you're like, "Oh, this character's sick." No, he's not. But Fab is sick with him, and Fab makes all that time that he put into learning Potemkin look worth it because you know you watch him win stuff, and it's like, "Damn, this character must be sick." And in DBFZ, anytime that you see, you know, like a character specialist like you, Kuba, you know, used to played Hit for a long ass time, and now it's like, you know what? Why not just play a different character? Because all that time you put into Hit is like, well, what's it worth?
Now I'm playing Gotenks and I'm winning games with like a third of the effort. Like, it's
that's the biggest draw about DBZ because in most games, if you tell Fab, stop playing this character, play Soul, he's got a command grab. It's like, no, that's not the same. It's not the same. But in Dragon Ball, you can go, stop playing Videl, play GT. And they're like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, you can evolve from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, every show I keep mentioning Marvel because that's my grassroots. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, especially Ultimate. I have not much played 1 or 2, but Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is like where I came from. And when I saw like DBFC coming out, like all the marketing, I was like, oh, it's gonna be sick. And I was thinking about like, how is the balancing in this game gonna be? Because they showed off Super Dash, of course, which was like a huge thing. When they showed Super Dash, like, oh my god, we can just skip neutral. This is easy now. And I was like, okay, how are they going to balance that around? Like, some characters could have a slower Super Dash, some have it faster. And, of course, different size health bars. And I do agree with C4, like, they kind of kneecapped the way they could balance the game. And because of all of that missed opportunity, we get, like, nerfs for Kid Buu that does, like, his level 1 is 100 damage less. Like, because that nerf screamed like we don't know how to balance that character. We know Kid Buu is probably the strongest character in the game, but we don't know how the fuck to balance this pink little guy. But if they had taken those different health values or like damage values or like other Super Dash thing, I think C4 PanZerPan just exited himself. So Oh, there he is. But yeah, I do think it's
wow, okay.
You good?
Yes,
good?
I'm good.
Right.
My internet does this from time to time. It just dies for about a minute and then it comes back.
That's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I do like.
Go.
What I also wanted to say is with the last few characters we've seen, I get a very strong feeling that they're kind of preparing us for something. Because especially the last 3 characters, have been wild. With like different system mechanics, Roshi not even having a super dash. I have a feeling that they're like testing out the waters because they knew, all right, we don't have a lot of characters. They're probably gonna sell anyway because it's Dragon Ball and people eat that shit up. So it's gonna sell anyway. Let's just go fucking nuts. They did that with UI Goku to an extent. He's still relatively traditional when you look to like season 2 or season 1 characters even.
But like a Shinakuma.
Yeah, basically. Or like an Oni, maybe even Oni or Shinakuma. But Roshi, Baby, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta play so wildly different than all the other characters in the whole cast that I do have a feeling like, okay, what's the reception of these characters? What can we take from them? Or what does the community allow us to do? Like, what can we do? What can we not do? And I have a strong feeling that this is testing out the waters to see what they can do with balancing when it comes to potentially a sequel.
It's crazy because Dragon Ball Fighters devs, I don't want to put this. They're pussies. They are. It's almost like they're ashamed of making a team game. It's weird because they give everything cross-up protection the moment an assist is on. The moment an assist ever looks strong in this game, they nerf it to the dirt. Like,
true.
Every single time a character even looks like remotely interesting or remotely shaking up the way the game is played, especially like with Roshi, like they immediately shoot it because they immediately listen to Twitter, they immediately listen to it. And that's why we end up with things like the season 2 like top 16, which like I love all those players, but like 9 of them were playing the same team. Like you had Kazunoko, Bazunoko, Banazunoko, Mazunoko, like they're all playing the same team. They're all playing the Adult Gohan Yamcha Shell or Adult Gohan Kid Buu with some sort of GT like added on to any of those. Like, and with the way that they handle this game and the way that they develop their characters, I'm glad that they add in stuff like SSJ4 Gogeta, and I'm glad they add in stuff like Roshi and stuff like that. But the moment that stuff starts to break the mold or break the meta, they either tone it down, or when they release the character on release, like Janemba, the character is completely lackluster and doesn't do anything cool. Like Videl, everybody was like, oh man, she's like a puppet character that doesn't have a reflect. How's that going to work? And the answer is, oh, Key Blast into Vanish jails you now. That's how it works. Like, what are you going to do about that? Your DP is the worst DP in the game. Have fun. Like,
yeah.
It's wild to me. It's wild to me that they're so afraid to shake anything up. They're like, okay, we want you to knock people down, we want you to call an assist, and we want you to 50-50 them. And any other way of playing the game is wrong. And then they're like, why don't more people play Hit or Vegito? Like, they really
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it's like, and the point you make about assists is like, look at Vegeta A assist. That used to like dominate the game, and well, I mean, there was a lot of like Vegeta being played.
I see C4 crying in the back.
C4 crying, yeah. There was a lot of Vegeta being played, with the main point of Vegeta being there, being what do? You A assist. Much the same way that Roshi, for a while is Boshi. But it's like the moment that a character becomes interesting as like a team commitment, as like you're here because it makes my other 2 characters that much stronger. And when it comes down to you, well, there's not much left. It's like, all right, nerf it, kill it.
Yeah, but even that's not an archetype, like a glue character. That's like even in Marvel, at a stretch you go, oh, Senko has the best assist when she's golden because you can't stop it. Like it's a guaranteed Yamcha assist for the most part. Even though she's bad, at least she had that thing where it's like, you know what? If my game plan is purely like a 50-50 like Dragon Ball, that's the best assist you can have. And they kind of take that away from characters, like you said, Vegeta A and Roshi B assist. It's like, okay, cool.
Roshi B gave every character in the game a 50-50.
Yeah.
Gave every character super jump IAD left right. And it immediately made Hit way more viable. It immediately made Vegito way more viable. It immediately made Trunks not an execution check to just do his 50-50. Like, it made all of these other characters and opened up so many doors, and then people were like, but I keep running into it online. And then they're like, oh, well, we can't have that. Get rid of it. Like,
yeah. Go back to Kid Buu A.
Yeah, exactly. And cool. If you don't have a low 2L, have fun. Like, figure it out, idiot. Like,
I mean, situations like this is 100% why Harada keeps saying, like, don't ask me for shit. I know what you want. You don't know what you want. I know what you want. And I wish that... we all love Hiroki-san. She's adorable. She's great. But...
She's not got that energy.
But, yeah, she doesn't have that... I mean, she doesn't have that Harada energy, of course. She's super polite and stuff, but... I wish she and the balance team would just put her foot down and like, no, we decide what goes now.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, this team has never made a team fighter before, and making a team fighter is hard because inevitably your team fighter is going to be fucked up. At some point it is going to be stupid. It's like, you look at the most successful team fighting franchise of all time, Marvel. Like, does anybody think Marvel is a balanced game? God, no. Marvel's amazing, but it is a clusterfuck. Like, Skullgirls is amazing, but you're just looking at it and you're like, wow, that's fucked up. Like, that's why I say Dragon Ball's almost ashamed of being a team fighter. But they take a lot of these team fighter aspects and they're just like, well, let's, like, remove that so people won't complain about it. And it has made it a lot more accessible, and that's great. Like, Dragon Ball was my first, like, competitive fighting game. Like,
I've heard that a lot more than I thought I would. I hear a lot of people saying Dragon Ball FighterZ is my first competitive fighting game. I've heard that more than any other game.
Yeah, and it's such a great gateway game. Like, I am now playing Strive, I'm playing Skullgirls, I played some Exert, I played Unist, I played a ton of different games now. And it's such a great jumping off point, but this game, Dragon Ball, needs to evolve beyond where it is right now. Because we've been seeing the same thing for 3.5 years at this point. Like, they need to shake it up, and every time they try to shake it up, they immediately backpedal. It's wild to me. Like, they make these choices, and they're like, cool, things are about to be different and change. And then, nope, we get that Kid Buu back on your team. We nerfed his damage so people will stop complaining, but he's still Kid Buu.
Yeah. I feel like they tried to make something that I guess technically is possible, but it's impossible at the same time. They tried to make a balanced team fighting. Now, you could go the route of Marvel where you make it so unbalanced it's fair because everyone can pick the unbalanced stuff, and there's enough characters to a degree where it's like you can be creative and have something that's unreasonable to a degree. We've seen like Dante Wesker, every Phoenix team, Zero teams, Virgil's.
I mean, any team with Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Any team with Doctor. It doesn't matter who you play. If you put on Doctor Doom with either A or B assist, you're fine.
Yeah, like every top 8 had like 8 or 9 different teams. Like it was crazy. And I say 9 because people would switch between 2 teams mid-match depending on the matchup. Like in Dragon Ball, there is no matchups. Like if you understand what a character does, you don't really need anything else.
Welcome to Dragon Ball, where the teams don't exist and the matchups don't matter.
You've got stuff like GT in Season 2 where it's like every team valued GT's assist because it was so crucial to the game because there was nothing like it. Base Vegeta was close. Trunks Change the Future was not close, but it did the same kind of thing. Like
you had to run a stop jumping assist in Season 2. And
and there was only one assist that did it, really.
Yeah, it was those, a DP, or like... That's it. It was just like GT, Vegeta, base Vegeta A, Change the Future, and like adult Gohan / Teen Gohan assist if you're being like technical, because then you call it when they jump in. And if you look at every team in the top like 30 from that time, everybody's running at least one of those assists. Like I was running CTF, like Obi was running Adult Gohan A, millions of people were running Adult Gohan A. A lot of people were running 2 of those assists, or even 3. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, of course.
I think they tried to make it balanced. I think Dragon Ball is probably one of the best, if you want an example, for a balanced fighting game, but it just showed the balance is homogenized. Like, it's so balanced, everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, like, people keep shouting, we want a balanced fighting game.
Yeah,
but then we don't.
Really.
Like, still, I think when I play Marvel, I have more fun than when I play Dragon Ball. Even though I love Dragon Ball, I love the way it plays. Of course, the art style is very big. Is a very big part. The way the character looks, the supers, the camera angles is great. But honestly, when I play Marvel, I'm having more fun just because of how what I wanted to say, like, for the last couple minutes, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 especially is probably, I think, the only fighting game that does first to 3 in non-finals matches because of just how random and batshit insane that game is.
Skullgirls actually does that too.
Oh, really? So. I didn't know that.
Yeah, nice. It does now.
Skullgirls does first to 3, and Marvel 2 also does that, I think.
Oh, okay. So, but I remember, like, every single... I was like shocked when I played in, like, my first Dragon Ball tournament. Wait, this is not first to 3? This is first to 2? What? What do you mean I already lost?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Cause, I mean, like, I've had this conversation. I was at First Attack with like the Kill Sage and Super Noon and a couple other people, and we were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, Marvel's first to 3, and Dragon Ball should be first to 3, but also Dragon Ball takes 5 to 10 minutes per game.
Yeah.
So no, we'll be here until midnight. So it has to be a 2 out of 3 because Dragon Ball, while being a team fighter and while being a quote unquote balanced team fighter, is still a very volatile game, like any team fighter. Like." One bad decision and you can lose the whole matchup. Happy birthday. And the game should be 3 out of 5 because of that, but we just don't have the time due to the nature of it. The game lasts too long.
Yeah. And even when the meta was big on, like, oh, you touched someone, like, you perfectly typed with Cell, Spark, kill that character. That was when the meta was kill as quick as possible. It was like, I think I remember people being weirded out that Chris G was sparking to save his last character. Mm-hmm. That type of era where everyone's focused on TODs, even then games took long. They just took way too long. And I thought it would be a case of a lot of games when they start like evolving, people were just unoptimal. Like it happened with Cross Tekken. To this day, it happens with Cross Tekken. You see timeouts in Cross Tekken because the people you're playing don't play Cross Tekken and they don't know how to kill you in 2 touches. Like when I played it, I played people like Jammers and Fury Fire. If I rolled and they read my roll, I lost the game because when you lose your first character in Cross Tekken, your second character could have full health, you still lose the game. So to me, it's impossible to have that game timeout because you only need to get hit twice by one character. It's not like the first character dies and the second one comes in. You just lose if you lose your first character. But everyone saw timeouts and I was just like, it must be the way people are playing the game. I thought that with Dragon Ball, but it's not really. Like it's turned out that games still do take a long time, and that might be because of how they've been changing damage output and how people have decided to go a more consistent route. Instead of killing someone instantly, they're like, well, as long as I can put you in another 50-50, it's fine. So I will slowly kill you with, like, I don't know, chloroform or something instead of just shooting you in the head. Like that's how they're playing it now.
The way the meta was heading before, like, basically, like, since there's no word. Like, I'm a firm believer we are getting a season 4 because this game has sold 6 million units, and it's every single season they do this. They do the last character, and then they wait 2 months, and then they announce the next season. Like, it's weird, but they keep doing it. How it was looking was everybody was just going to play some variation of my first 2 characters 50-50 and have good neutral. So I'm either going to play base Vegeta or Blue Goku in point, and I'm going to play somebody who complements them in the middle, and I'm going to play Android 21 in the back. And Android 21 in the back, I'm going to just hit them once with one of my first 2 characters, build 3 bars, 50-50 them with 21, and then zone them out. Like, that was looking like what the meta was heading to. Mm-hmm. But now, with a character like SSJ4 Gogeta, it looks like the meta can't head that way, because that actually counterpicks that. Because he just has to sit back, taunt you 7 times, he's like, cool, the moment you commit to something, I'm going to just level 3 you, and you die. So... It's an interesting time for Dragon Ball because there's a different game plan. I'm so excited about it, but there's no way to play the game right now, so it doesn't matter.
I will say when it comes to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, another cool thing that I realized during last CBK where I commentated and a bunch of people played Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and nobody leveled up, which is I think purely because people don't. Like they're not that comfortable with the character yet,
and muscle memory in it.
And it's like it's been
got a mix.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3.5 years of sliding knockdown mix, so nobody's playing like okay, sliding knockdown, knocking 2 taunts. But another thing about the taunt, right, is taunt means no assists. Because if he's got level 7 and you call assist, he hits level 3, your character's gone. That's that's not a happy birthday. That's just a character gone. TOD. He's out. You can call your UI A, but he's gone.
Easiest Merry Christmas ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like something changes in the air when Gogeta hits level 7. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, I can't click shit." I can't click shit. I get punished. I'm dead.
You get checkmate. Like there's nothing you can do.
Now you got to play a fighting game.
Yeah,
that's what level 7 means. You've got to play a fighting game now. You might just get smoked.
You can't just run around and throw out your shit.
You need to play neutral.
You have to play against this character. And that's really good because Gogeta himself, like, his neutral's good. It's not great. He doesn't have any, like, ranged options, so he has good buttons, and that's about it. And
I think really if he had a full screen option, if he had, like, a beam, I think he would be top 3 easily.
Oh, he'd be broken. Yeah, no. I think the character's in a good place right now. The literal only thing I would buff him for is speed up his command grab by about 6 frames, make it a 20-frame grab. That's about it.
I would say give it a feint as well.
So a real beam?
Not a real beam, but just like I don't remember which fighting game it was. There was a Street Fighter where you could like throw fake fireballs.
Like, Soul does that in Guilty Gear.
Yeah, do it like that. Like give him a fake out which recovers much faster, so you can actually mix them up. Because if you see like the animation of the Kamehameha, you already know like I gotta jump because Goji doesn't have another option. He doesn't have a beam.
Yeah.
I'd say don't give him a beam. Oh yeah, it was Alpha 2 and 3. I remember. Yeah, was it Alpha or Third Strike?
That was also in I think the original Street Fighter 2. You did it by pressing the start button.
Yeah.
Fireball, and then you would reach up and hit the start button.
Yeah, and people would see it and like. Oh.
I think with arcades got so wacky that people would pretend they're fainting and then do a fireball with one hand. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. So that sounds sick.
That's a Bush League fighting game.
Now people are like, "Oh man, this 8-frame Link's too hard."
Oh my god!
Don't.
Yeah, so I, for what you said, Kuba, you said something about a season 4. I really hope they're not doing that.
I hope they're not either. Yeah. Like, I think the game needs a new edition, but I think they will because money.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I think I've said this like almost every show, maybe the last couple shows, that of course Bandai has this contract with either Shueisha or Toei. In either way, they have a contract with the rights holders of the Dragon Ball franchise. They need to make a Dragon Ball game every single year. They just need to do it. They're obligated. And of course, Dragon Ball FighterZ was one of those games that fit in that 1 year a game slot. But it took a very different approach because, of course, mostly Bandai develops those games. I think they do it in-house, or like I said, maybe a company like Dimps makes them, because I think Dimps
made... it with like CyberConnect 2 and stuff.
Yeah, because I think Dimps made Xenoverse, right? At least I'm pretty
sure. I know very little about Xenoverse. I must be completely honest.
I'm pretty sure Dimps made Xenoverse.
I got really drunk for a week and played Xenoverse. That game's great. 10 out of 10. Never touched it again.
Yeah, that's the best way to enjoy it, I think.
That was a fantastic time. I got to play a human, I went Kaioken, and I beat people up with a Hercule wig. It was awesome.
I bought Xenoverse for my Switch because I wanted something to hold me over until like Dragon Ball FighterZ came out on the Switch. And I played it for like 2 hours, and then I returned it.
That's fair.
But yeah, what I want to see is, and like, I don't think they're gonna do a season 4. At least I hope they're not gonna do season 4, because of course we all like new consoles are a thing right now. That's the reason why Strive is also coming out on PS5 and PS4. I don't think it would be a great business. I mean, it would be a great business decision to make season 4 because they like money, of course. But I honestly hope that they are gonna make a sequel with, as we said, like, give characters variable health. Bring back Fuzzy in a more sensible way, because Fuzzy in Season 2 was kinda... I mean, C4 keeps saying that if... The reason Broly is so dominant right now is because we don't have Fuzzy anymore. With Fuzzy, we kept him in check. But
one of his only drawbacks.
Yeah, Fuzzy, exactly. It was his only drawback.
I don't know if I agree with bringing Fuzzy back. Here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on that. Is... Snap and Fuzzy were garbage because they both existed at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you bring back one or the other. And I'm more of a fan of bringing back Snap Mix, because Fuzzy invalidated a third of the cast half the time. So Fuzzy doesn't. Not Fuzzy. Snap doesn't. Snap just gives you a free 50-50 if your team allows for it, and just reduce the lockout to 4 seconds so you don't get mixed 3 times instead of once. So that's the only change I would make, but I agree.
Yeah, I would agree.
You need to bring back one of them.
I mean,
if they bring back Fuzzy, I won't be mad.
I mean, the thing is, even though I did play Cell back in that time, I never really got fuzzied, and I don't know why. It was probably because the Netherlands was pretty shit at the game at that time.
Oh, don't worry. I live in the West Coast where we have like really good players, and we just didn't fuzzy for some reason. It was weird. We just never fuzzied each other.
Like a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, I played Piccolo Zamas 16 at one point, and nobody fuzzied me.
They just let you get away with it. They're like, yeah, listen, I want to see some character. I want to see some character variety. Go ahead, play Janemba. You know, show me the Janemba.
Playing Zamas, we can't bully him any harder than.
Maybe if you were too good, they couldn't fuzzy you. Maybe that's what it was.
Ooh. I mean, I do want we're probably gonna see a sequel. I do still think that a season 4 chance is pretty big, but I hope they're not gonna do it, because that means
my only problem with like a season 4 is like, who are you gonna add? We got like Omega Shenron and
Hercule.
Hercule,
Bulma and Namek.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as like
it's gotta
valid.
be. Okay, so season 1 was 8 characters, season 2 was 6, season 3 was 5, so this one's gonna be 1 character, and it's gonna be Omega Shenron.
Yeah,
and he's like a boss character, so he's like one character's the entire team.
Yeah,
I am so mad they didn't do that. I am actually so mad that they didn't do that.
The character that took up 2 slots or something because he's so broken.
No, exactly, because it would have made sense. Like, I think we touched on this as well. Like, it would have made sense, not even on just like maybe gameplay wise, but lore wise as well. Because there's no reason why Videl should be able to fucking beat Frieza or Broly. Videl should die in like 2 punches.
But let's be real here. Skullgirls, you can pick how big your team is.
Exactly.
Nobody plays 1v3.
That's definitely not true.
I was going to say that's not true. That's not true.
I must have changed since last time I checked in on the
since about like 2015, there's been a couple of solo players that have been like doing very well at tournaments.
But there's only a couple characters that can do that effectively, right? I know I forgot her name. But there's
it's not universal.
There's like one. There's like a character. There's like the character that can roll, like can just take off her head and roll it towards someone.
Oh, Fortune.
Yeah, Fortune, like the cat. I know she's one of the bigger like I am solo. The whole team, a bigger solo character.
Because the biggest one is like Wing Zero on Philia, who Philia's Magneto. Like she's just Magneto. Like you just triangle dash all over the place and then mix people to death.
No beam as well.
Sonic,
she did.
Yeah. And Sonic hates playing the 3v1 matchup. Like as a 3, Sonic Fox hates playing the 3v1 matchup. So when they fight Wing, they actually do a 1v1. Oh, so it's wild. Like there's a way to make that kind of stuff work. Like there is a precedent. But again, Dragon Ball FighterZ devs are pussies. They're not going to do anything like cool. Like they're not going to change up the game. They're going to.
I remember. I mean, I'm so glad Mike Z is not involved with that game anymore because he did some pretty terrible things. But back in the day when he made Skullgirls, he was like, okay, so I really like Marvel 2, and I don't like what they did with Marvel 3, so I'm gonna make my own Marvel 2. That's basically what he did, and I applaud him for it. I don't applaud the action, the more, let's just say, questionable things that he did. He's not the best person in the world, and I'm glad he's off that team, but...
apparently he was holding the game back, because now the game is getting supported again after nothing for, like, 3 or 4 years. Like, so, you know what? Like, small blessings.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like that approach. I do like that approach of making fighting games, though. Like, if you're not, like, you say about what you want about him, I'm going to say he's still not a good person, but he was like, yo, if I don't get the stuff I want, I'm just going to do it myself with blackjack and hookers, and he did it. And even, I mean, he wanted to make his own fighting game with like the things he liked, and he did it. Of course, now the team that made it is still behind it. He's not involved, but now the team is like, all right, we're gonna do our stuff. We want to do this. We're gonna make like finally after like 8 years, season 1. Here we go, boys.
Yeah. It's so hard to make fighting games. Like it's ridiculous. You saw the Project M team try to make their own like Project M clone, and the game fell apart. Like it is so impossibly hard. So when a game like Skullgirls rolls around, or even anything that gets support, just like I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like I know I'm making fun of Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it's just because I'm frustrated and jaded, and I haven't gotten to play a real.
We want the game to be good.
Yeah,
and that's why
Dragon Ball FighterZ with all my heart.
I mean, you can like people that are new to this show. You can think like we're just hating on Dragon Ball. No, just to be sure, all the people here right now, we love this fucking game. We want it to be the best it can be, and that's why we're hard on it. Because we know the game has like the potential to be the best fighting game in the world, not just gameplay wise, but like bringing all of the fighting game communities together wise, which it has already done to a certain extent. Of course,
it's the closest thing to do like what MK and Street Fighter did for like fighting games in general. Dragon Ball can do that.
Yeah, that's the potential it has.
Generations after, like the IP and the people behind it could make this like it could have been the esports game.
Mm-hmm. The thing is as well, okay, so I'm gonna draw a comparison, and you're gonna like, what the fuck is he talking about? Dragon Ball's kind of like Pokemon.
All right,
not in the way. All right,
I'm listening.
All right, this is why Dragon Ball is a transmedia product. If I've only played Dragon Ball FighterZ, and C4 has only played, only watched Dragon Ball Z. Kuba has only watched Dragon Ball GT, and PanZerPan only watched Dragon Ball, the first one. If I talk about Goku, we all but just as a
GT, man.
But like if I talk about Goku, we for all know who we're talking about. It doesn't matter if I played the games. It doesn't matter if I watched the shows. It doesn't matter if I read the manga. We all know who Goku is. We all know who Vegeta is. We all know who Cell is. And I think that is the beauty of Dragon Ball. And it's in Pokemon, it's exactly the same way. It doesn't matter if you played the games. It doesn't matter if you watch the anime. It doesn't matter if you watch the trading card games. It doesn't matter if you like if you've done anything with Pokemon. If you talk about Charmander, everyone that knows Pokemon knows what you're talking about. So Dragon Ball has that same
comparison because Pred came from not Budokai, Xenoverse. I think he came from Xenoverse. I know people like Kaiden came from Shippuden. I know it's a different thing, but people get attracted to the IP. And like you said, like Pokemon, there's been world champions in Pokemon that started playing the card game. Then they played VGC, which is like the Nintendo Switch version of Sword and Shield, and they get like top 8 in that. Dragon Ball definitely could have done that.
I mean, for me personally, I hadn't watched anything or done anything Dragon Ball until this game came out. But I thought, damn, that fighting game looks sick, and everybody's playing it. I want to play it too. And then I ended up reading all of Dragon Ball and then watching Super. And now I'm a huge fan. Now I got Vegeta on my wall, nice. And it's like that's kind of the power that a game like this has. It had such a huge attraction for a casual crowd. It's why it like practically won Evo a couple of times in sheer viewer count, because everybody could watch DBFZ and have a good time.
I mean, who doesn't love seeing Goku and Vegeta beating the shit out of each other? It's always entertaining.
It rivaled Smash numbers.
I think it got even more viewers than Smash at its first year. It beat like the all-time viewer record.
Year it was a friggin' Saturday game because I don't know why Arc System Works was like, you know what our big seller is? Blaze Blue Cross Tag. That's the big seller. That's the big money. Like they put that on Sunday and then like 12 people watched it.
Yep.
Like no shame to the Blaze Blue Cross Tag fans, but your game is bad. Like,
I'm not saying your game is bad, but your game is bad.
Yeah,
look, I used to smoke weed all day and play Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasm and Blaze Blue Central Fiction for hours with my boys. All right, so Crossplay that came out and I'm jaded.
Are you saying you need to be high to play that game?
No, I need to be high to enjoy anything remotely related to Blaze Blue, and I couldn't even enjoy that.
Oh, Blaze, I get it. Blaze Blue, I get it.
Exactly. What, you've never run the Blaze Green bracket? Come on, man.
Anyway, the title, man.
I mean, we're talking about Evo. I mean, we might as well just touch on the bombshell that was dropped like not 2 days ago. Evo is now officially owned by two companies. One half, I think it's like half Sony, half company called RTS, which is apparently like some kind of investment company which invests like in esports things. There are two major implications with this acquisition. One being a very good one, which is with Sony, at least Sony at the helm, Evo is probably not going to die in the next 10 years. Because if Sony's behind it, there's money. And then if there's money, your event's probably going to survive. Because Sony can just pump all their PlayStation dollars at it, and it'll probably do well. Because it gets sponsorships as well. So it's with official support, I think it's going to do well. But we all know how Japanese companies are towards each other, especially when they're competing. So I think there's a big chance Evo is going to be smashless as of this year.
Well,
I not think. I have a dark suspicion that we're not going to see Smash anymore.
Well, I think there's a bunch of things to be said for that, and that is that specifically Ultimate is, of course, in large part developed by Bandai Namco. They were deeply involved with that game. Of course, Nintendo themselves are as well. Sakurai is still heading it up, but Bamco is, hugely involved in the making of that game. And we know that the guys from Bamco knew about this acquisition, and everything went ahead. And we've got Harada saying that that they all knew about it, and nothing's that they're not surprised about anything, not worried about anything. So I wouldn't be surprised if Omni says absolutely nothing changes about Evo, and this is mostly a move for Sony to get in on bigger esports events, and at the same time for Evo to survive the non-spocalypse of 2020.
Mm-hmm. To be honest,
I think there's
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, C4.
I was about to say, I think there's two ways to look at it. It's an Xavier Eric thing, right? So it's Wheels versus Magneto. I'm kind of with Magneto. I think Smash is too big for the FGC. They're way bigger than the FGC. Every tournament you go to, that game dwarfs the numbers bar Dragon Ball that one time, or 2 times, sorry. I don't dislike Smash. I just think Smash give people a different idea to what fighting game players are like, traditional fighting game players. Platform games, even like Brawlhalla at CEO pre-COVID had insane numbers.
Yeah, that game is huge.
When it was new. Yeah, when it was new, it was bigger than some of the traditional fighting games. I think these platform games, I hate calling it that, but that is what people normally call it. The platform games and traditional fighting games, if the Sony thing went, look, if you're not on our console, we just don't support you. Cool. They don't need the support. Smash is way bigger anyway. Not than Sony, obviously, but in terms of fighting game communities, they're massive. They don't need to be possibly tied down with us. I know Smash have their own dramas and FGC has their dramas, but clumping them together seems like a really lazy way to go, oh, it's just fighting games, because I feel that's what people outside of fighting games see it as. And they're two totally different ways of making a fighting game. Two totally different. There's outliers that can play both, right? Justin Wong, Leffen, but for the most part, they're two different entities. So if Sony do the Magneto way and go, look, just, you know what, Smash, Brawlhalla, you do your thing over there, it's cool. We know you will survive. You don't need us to survive. Or they do the Xavier thing and try to bring it together. I think it's going to be a little bit complicated, because I think Sony getting Evo is a very good way to trick people into believing in esports, because we went through years where people were like, grassroots, we just played grassroots games, and no one played Skullgirls in that area, by the way. But when the esports money was saying, yeah, all the commentators are gonna have to wear ties and stuff, no one wanted it. At least with Sony, they can disguise the esports with the Evo logo. So,
oh yeah. Look, my incredibly spicy take is that literally nothing changes.
Yeah.
Literally nothing changes, because Evo itself hasn't been a grassroots tournament in over a decade.
People in chat are like, yeah, Evo hasn't been grassroots in ages.
Yeah, Evo is...
It's not been, but people think it is.
I mean, it's because of its history.
I know it's like a big event and stuff, right? It's like a MCM Expo sort of thing where there's more stalls selling stuff than places to play games. I definitely know about that. Yeah.
If you want a big grassroots tournament, then For
Combo Breaker.
U.S. players or North American players on this side of the globe, it's Combo Breaker. And if you want a grassroots tournament in the EU over there, then it's UFA, from what I've heard. Like, those are the closest.
Is Versus Fighting also not like just as big?
Versus Fighting. Oh, that's in Birmingham. It's in UK. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I don't think it's on UFA level.
I've heard great
Yeah,
things
okay,
about
fair
that.
enough.
Isn't that put on by the same team as UFA? Yeah, Versus Fighting. It might be.
Some of them. Yeah, some of them.
Exactly. So if you want good grassroots events, stuff like that, but Evo itself has been an industry event for a long time. That's where they announce all the new games.
Yeah.
It's where there's trailers everywhere. It's where there's no place to play setups. There's no place to eat where there's good food. Like, it's just you're stuck in the convention center. You're there to play your matches, and you're there to wait in lines. Like,
I mean, like,
I'm glad that people have fun going to Evo, and if they think it's a grassroots event, good for them. But
it's not.
Sony buying it is.
Would you say the people outside of fighting games think it's a grassroots event? That's kind of what I meant. The masses, the people that only go to one tournament a year, mostly to spectate, they think, oh, if I go to Evo, I'm classed as the fighting game community. Those sort of players, not the people that are actually in the brackets, the people that are coming to the event.
I've never met anybody that thought that way. Everybody that I know that doesn't compete at that, they're just like, I want to go to the Super Bowl of fighting games, because that's what Evo is.
Right.
It's the Super Bowl of fighting games. Like, it's the World Series. It's where, because if you're a competitor, you have to go to Evo. Like, it's not optional. Like, if you're like, because you're like, okay, if you're sponsored, your sponsor's like, yeah, go. You have to. Like, it's the biggest stage in the world, biggest international competition. More people watch it than anyone else. And you're like, yeah, but what if I really don't like the event? They're like, we don't care. We're paying for you to go, so you're going. Like,
yeah. You see this contract?
Exactly, because I know tons of players that are sponsored, and they're like, if I didn't have to go to Evo, I wouldn't, because it's not an event that you really like have time to enjoy at. Like, it's fun to like mess around in Vegas and stuff, but it is an industry event first and a tournament second.
It's like, it's more of a spectators tournament than a actual like player tournament.
Exactly.
Which is, to be honest, is not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all. Like,
I mean, it's
great. It's, as an industry event, it is great for the FGC. Just as a tournament, if you want to have the most fun going as a player to a tournament, you've never been to a tournament before, Evo ain't it. Go to a much smaller major or any of these other events in a lot of cooler locations.
Heard a lot of people like Final Round as well.
Final Round's great to a lot of people. I haven't been to that one.
I mean, I like a lot of events that Big E does, because Big E's just an all-around awesome guy.
Yeah, like First Attack is an amazing event in Puerto Rico. All the UK events I've heard are very, very good. I'd like to go to more of them. The Spain Saga Dragon Ball event was by far the hypest event I've ever been to, because the Spain crowd popped off anytime Shanks hit a jab. Like, it was amazing.
People went mad. Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why it's called the Spanish Level 3.
Exactly. Like, grassroots, I think, is important, but grassroots isn't what makes the FGC the FGC. And us having money isn't going to change it. Like, you really think people are going to force Yipes to wear a tie? Like, do you really think people are going to do that?
Good luck. Good luck with that one.
And good luck doing that when Yipes is... Like, you see people in other games being like, oh yeah, like, I'm a League of Legends fan, and my favorite commentators are like Monte Cristo and Yipes. Like,
I mean, Yipes just transcends. Like,
how long do you think you can keep Tasty Steve in a tie or a suit?
Well, the way it just rips off.
Yeah, he just rips it off, yeah.
And it's great because sometimes you have desks like that where it's like Tasty Steve sitting there with his beads on and a t-shirt, and he's popping off a Tekken, and next to him is Sajam, who's wearing a suit and tie, and who's like calmly analyzing the game, and it's a great dynamic. Like, one of them is clearly the hype man, and I'm a huge fan of commentary theory. Like, I'm a commentator on top of like being a player and all that stuff. I used to commentate my local every week. I've commentated some smaller majors. And the dynamic between like who's the big wild loud one and who's the analysis can be so cool in just the fact that they're dressed differently. Like, it's such a cool aspect of fighting games.
I mean, that's why I really miss offline tournaments. It's not just of course online tournaments have been like probably the reason why Dragon Ball still exists at this point. Because if the community didn't just band together and like made a bunch of online events, the game would probably not have survived for as long as it did. Competitively, I'm saying, of course, casually, it's gonna probably never die. Same with Marvel, but like commentating offline is such a much different experience than commentating online. Like, there's no nonverbal communication, there's no visual cues. I mean, I know C4, we were big into offline commentating as well before like the whole shit show happened. PanZerPan, have you ever commentated an offline?
No, man.
Yeah, there you go.
I've only ever commentated online, and on one hand, I'm super grateful, and I'm sure Omni in the chat with me, we're both super grateful for getting all these chances to do all this online commentary and and get into it. But at the same time, it's so difficult to not interrupt your co-commentator. Yeah. It's so difficult to find a flow with each other that works nicely because I can't see him. I'm looking at the game. I can't see him. He's not sitting next to me. I can't take any cues from him. I'm from the acting world. I did it. I got my acting degree. So taking cues from others and working together in a telling way to make things entertaining for people is what I do. But doing it online is just so difficult. It's so hard. It's almost impossible.
I'm pretty lucky because I'm naturally a hermit. So commentating online, I could feel the difference, but I didn't feel like, it just isn't as good. When I did the commentating with like Tyrant Damascus offline for Dragon Ball, I felt that it was easier, obviously, to gauge the chemistry. I want to be a commentator that can basically be the opposite to the person I'm sitting next to, regardless of what they are. If they're funny, I'll be analytical. If they're analytical, I'll try and be funny and all the stuff in between, right? I'll try and be the person who doesn't know the game to ask the right questions that people spectating are looking at and all that sort of stuff. When it came to online, I felt like really happy about it because I know when I tried to get into commentating offline, there was a lot of gatekeepers and it wasn't on purpose, but it came down to, you want to commentate this local, what experience have you got? It was like, well, I haven't got any. He was like, then you can't do it. It's like, where am I going to get the experience from? Online. That was the answer that no one told me. You just commentate online. This era, the COVID era, is given lab monsters time to actually get good at a game, and it's given commentators a chance to build a portfolio of like doing stuff, because everyone might not think it when they're making a tournament, but they need commentators. And it's way better, I feel, for tournament organizers that are doing online stuff to get commentators to do the commentating while they do the streaming stuff. I know a lot of people do both, which is fine, but there's a lot of talent with players that can actually talk. A lot of players don't think they can talk, or they're scared to, or a bit shy or whatever. But there's a lot of players that can articulate themselves super well and then translate that to commentary. And when you're offline, when you go to a tournament, you want to focus on playing the game. You don't want to think about anything else. But when you're online, you're a little bit more loose. It's like, it's only online to some people, or, I can miss out this one because I know there's going to be another tournament because it's online next week or whatever. So they will try doing stuff like commentating. So I actually think COVID was a good thing to commentators. Maybe more for commentators trying to get into commentary offline, but I think it was a really good thing.
I mean, like, this whole stuff happening is like the only reason why we're sitting here right now.
Yeah.
Basically, I was bored. I mean, I've been with C4 and with Pan like on the desk a couple of times. It's the only reason why I know C4, because he was looking for like EU commentators for like an online event, and I think I got like added by Sir. He's like, yo, we need a guy. Can you fill in? I'm like, sure. And yeah, it's all and like the rest is history. The reason why like a lot more commentators have spawned the last year is basically because of COVID. Which, of course, COVID is a terrible, terrible thing, and of course, not something that we want to see again. But for this scene, and especially for commentators, it is probably one of the best things that ever happened to people that wanted to get into commentary, but couldn't because they either were competitors and wanted to focus on actually winning, and people that were just too shy. Because if you're gonna go like a big event, and like you say, I want to commentate like pools or something, that's a big barrier still, because there might even be like 400 or 500 people watching. That's a lot. That's a lot of eyeballs. But if you're
and people you commentate with as well. Like, I know when I was doing it with Damascus, people were like, were you scared doing the Damascus? Like, I've spoken to Damascus when there's not a camera watching. So to me, it's not that scary. But I'm like, oh man, he's such a big personality and stuff. The only thing I was scared of is that people would think I was Tyrant, and it happened anyway. So I wasn't scared anymore. So
wait. You're not Tyrant?
Wait, what? In the Netherlands, they don't spell Tyrant correctly. They spell it with a C. It's completely messed up over there.
Spelled with a C.
What?
Hold on. What? You're gonna have to run that one by us.
Yeah, I want
people in here.
And this is the main reason I don't get commentary jobs, because I'm just not a likable person. I'm just an asshole.
You're all right in my book, but yeah,
that's why I went down the player route. I'm a huge asshole.
But Kuba, that's why you do grassroots events that or like non-esports events. Could you just can swear to your heart's content? Call that guy an asshole. It's like you can do that on Evo, but. And that like
any esports, no esports will let you. An inside thing. So some tournaments, the devs don't let you say bad things about their games. So one of the Dragon Ball Z tournaments, I wasn't allowed to say a character was broken. They actually said you can't say that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've had rules because I've done 3 Red Bull events. Didn't get paid for it, by the way, because they didn't respect us as commentators, but that's a different story. But yeah, I did 3 Red Bull events. We had a couple rules. One of the rules was we always had to have an open can of Red Bull in front of us. That was the most important one. And like after a couple cans, I was like, no, I gotta drive like 3 hours back home at like 9 p.m. I don't want to stop like every 20 minutes just so I can pee. So at one point, I emptied my can and I just filled it with water. Like kept doing that. That was one of the rules. We were not allowed to curse. Those were the only 2 rules I've ever gotten. But even then,
not too bad to be fair.
Yeah, and we also had to talk about the game like we need to be very accessible to like new players.
Positive and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean it's marketing. Like that's what commentators are for the most part. They're marketing something. I guess it depends on the.
You're there to dumb it down. Honestly, that like you're there to
make it digestible.
Like you're there to let people know what's going on. You want somebody to watch it and have no idea what's going on in this game, and for you to kind of walk them through it, and while also not making the game look bad. Because sometimes you'll come into a Dragon Ball game and you're like, wow. They're awful. They're both terrible at this game.
A lot of commentators do that.
I mean, there's a thing, but like when you're commentating, you need to be on the same. You need to be on the same page as your commentator as well. Like, let's just say like Pan says, "Oh, that mix-up was really good." I was like, "Nah, that mix-up wasn't that good." Like, dynamic gone. Hype
there's
gone.
ways to do that. Yeah, like there's definitely ways to do that. Sometimes I commentate with someone.
Like a long-term commentary partner to do that.
Yeah. You can come up with like sort of like I call them like void phrases. So they're phrases that you come up with to be like, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I don't want to argue with you, so we're just gonna move on. You can do stuff like that, but it's all kind of like Kuba said. You get with experience, either with a certain commentator or through commentating with people that you don't gel with. I've done a lot of commentating with people. There's one commentator. I'm not going to dox him. There's one commentator that said everything was an RPS. It drove me mad. Because I'm like, what are you telling anyone then? Everything that happened, the neutral was RPS, the block stun was RPS, the mix-up was RPS, everything, character select was RPS to him. And I was just like, you're not saying anything. You might as well just be on mute. You're not giving anything to spectators.
You might just be really big brain though. Like if everything, like Wake Up is RPS in Dragon Ball if you're brave enough. Like that is.
I mean, it is, but then at that point, it's like, but why say anything at all? If you can just start your commentary with, this game is RPS, and then just mute your mic.
It's like literally commentating during the same time and being like, and they're both still breathing. And they're still breathing. And he took a breath. He stopped breathing. They're breathing. Like it's a given.
It's a play-by-play of obvious. But I learned a lot from that. I was like, okay, I need to learn how to tolerate this and not show it while I'm commentating, and how to basically sell sand to Aladdin. Like that's what I learned, to be given nothing and try and pitch it as something interesting.
Oh yes,
which is
I think it's more valuable. Like, obviously, at your start, you want to commentate with somebody who's a little bit better than you and all that stuff. But once you start getting your commentary legs, I think it is invaluable to commentate with somebody who's garbage. Somebody who's utterly terrible at commentating. It is such a useful skill set.
So you can adapt.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't get carried. Don't get carried in commentary, because when you don't have that person by your side, you're gonna take a very fast ball.
I remember when I did Celtic Throwdown in 2020, I got the grand finals with Dunk.
That was huge.
And Dunk is such a good commentator, and that's still like my best stuff. Like anytime that I listen back to it, I'm like, damn, like that was like the best commentary I did. But then sometimes it's like,
I want to say Dunk is one of the regular hosts. He hasn't been on in like 7 episodes or something. I just haven't, like, he has work, so I haven't gotten a hold of him. But he was in the first and the second show, and I've commentated with him as well. Dunk has a way of just like getting you hyped up. Of course, he's the hype man himself, but I think Dunk is so good at like juggling between like what he can say and then just passing it over to you, and he makes it seem very fluent and very elegant as well. I'll say he has a very nice way of bringing things, and he's also sorry.
He's a league commentator. I think that's where he came from. Yeah. He commentated league for like a couple of years apparently, so definitely got some really good transferable skills. I don't think there's many commentators in fighting games that came from other games. Now I think about it, I think they started off more of a player, right?
I came from another game. I came from League of Legends, and so did Jake Ryan, actually.
Mm-hmm. F-Champ came from Warcraft 3 RTS, actually. Now I remember.
Oh, no, I was talking about commentators, though.
Oh, commentators. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You see people move from game to game all the time. Like, Monte Cristo moved from, like, League of Legends to Overwatch and stuff like that. It happens.
Right, okay. I just missed all of that.
Yeah, it's just like commentating is a muscle, and you got to train it. It's nobody's good at commentary overnight. Like if you go look at Yipe's commentary from like 20 years ago, it's indecipherable. He's just yelling. It's beautiful. Like I love it, and you're like, wow, I get why people like this guy because he's very likable. But this is not commentary. This is a man yelling memes at a screen, and everybody.
Where your curly mustache at?
Exactly.
There's a man yelling "fuck the Knicks."
Oh man, he's so Pringles.
Yeah, commentary has become much more of an art in the last 10 years than just people sitting on a mic. Like, there's so much skill to it. There's what kind of commentator do you want to be? It's how do you pair up with other people. Like, my favorite commentator is Ringe, because he's the Swiss Army knife of commentators. He can go with anyone, and he can do anything.
I remember him from the Marvel 3 days. Okay, so random sidetrack. What happened to Genesis? Y'all remember Genesis? He was okay. So y'all know the run back, right?
Yeah,
Wednesday night fights and the run back.
Oh, okay, so Jaxel.
Who?
I think Jaxel run that, didn't he?
No, actually, run back was like the event after the Wednesday night fights.
Oh, I'm thinking of A-Way run. I'm bugging.
Yeah, A-Way run was like I think anime. No, it was Tekken, mostly Tekken, and but it was like I think it was the East Coast version. Yeah, I think it was the East Coast version of like Run Back or something like that. I don't remember, but like at the Run Back there were two more. I used to watch Marvel every single week because I was 17, didn't have much anything else to do, so I just watched Run Back Marvel every Thursday was for me because on the Friday morning because it was Thursday evening there, and there were like always two Marvel commentators. It was Ringe and Genesis. And I remember they did like SoCal regionals as well, a couple times together. But like Ringe now is doing DBFZ, but like I've never heard of Genesis.
Ringe just told me this. Genesis retired.
Like, okay, that makes sense.
He went to go live his life. Yeah, I now know who you're talking about because Ringe literally told me a story about him.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember him.
Yeah, like people come and go and stuff like that, but it's crazy. Like Ringe even retired for like 3 years.
Yeah, I remember that. Yo, wait. Oh, do you guys remember Magus 1234?
Yeah, I rate Magus. He's actually really good.
I missed him, man. Like like a couple. I remember. You know the year when Justin finally beat Chris G, and the person that sat next to Yipes at commentary was Ski Sonic.
No,
I remember Ski Sonic. I thought Ski Sonic was good. I know a lot of people don't like him.
I don't dislike him. I thought there were better people that could have sat in that chair. other than C4IQ. He's not bad at commentator. He's a good commentator, but
yeah, I guess it depends what you're after. I'm more of an analytical. I want information. I want to be told something I didn't know before watching. Otherwise, I could have just watched it on mute. I need information. As Keysonics, he knew stuff, so that's why I like him.
I will agree with
his
that.
memes and stuff. Maybe not. They kind of missed it quite a bit, and I know a lot of people didn't like his voice, but I just want information. I don't really care about all the optics and stuff. But that's me. I'm weird like that.
I mean, I'm not knocking Keysonic. I don't think he's a bad commentator, but yeah, the year before we had Magus and Yipes, and I still think Magus and Yipes are like the strongest Marvel vs. Capcom 3 commentators. I still think that because Marvel. I mean, Yipes is Mr. Marvel basically. He is. If there's a Marvel tournament, if you don't have Yipes, if you're a big Marvel tournament and you don't have Yipes as a commentator, what are you doing? And of course, y'all.
I mean, he has transcended that point, honestly. Like, obviously, Marvel is like his game. He was an Evo champ in that game and everything. Like, but the man is now just like expected to be at every World Finals for every game that's Tekken. Like, and like you can't replicate that. Like, nobody should ever try to be Yipes ever again because it's not gonna happen. You should just do your thing, grind out your locals, grind out online, and then apply. A great thing about Evo, going back to that, is that Evo is a fantastic place as like a first major to commentate at. They have tons of people because there's so many people in the tournament. There's so many pools that if you apply to commentate pools, they 99% of the time will accept you. Like, because they need the people to do it. Like, you're not gonna get paid or anything, obviously, because you're gonna get them sweet exposure bucks.
Yep.
But
can't wait to pay my rent with that.
Yeah, Panzer, you're an actor, like, you know.
The exposure bucks is like it's nonstop. It's nonstop. Yeah. People telling you what we can offer you is catering on set and a great experience on a real live television set, and it's like, I know what it's like to be on a real television set. I don't need.
I'm a comedian in LA. I get it.
Yeah.
some currency you can't hold in your hand. It's like social capital. You can't hold it, but you know when someone's got it.
Yeah. The only thing that actually works that way is like streaming. Streaming, if you have bigger streamer friends, your stream will grow. Like that's about it. Like,
I mean,
nothing else works that way.
I mean, this kind of ties. I mean, I have something for those. I mean, we're almost done with the show because we went like almost 1.5 hours already, or 1 hour 50 minutes. I have a teaser for next episode, and C4 and Pan, y'all already know what might happen in 2 weeks. But on April 4th, which is 2 weeks from now, if everything works out and everything is going the way I hope it's going to go, on the next show, we're going to have on none other than La Madre Romanova.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rose is the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, I shot my shot against Damascus. He was like, yeah, sorry, focusing 100% on my own stream. Thanks for the offer though. I'm like, yo, it's all right. Thanks for replying. I was like, I'm just gonna ask Rose. I'm just gonna ask Romanova. I just tweeted her like, I know you're busy, but hey, you want to come on the podcast and talk DBFC for like 1.5 hours? She's like, yeah, sure. I can do this weekend and next weekend, but yeah, sure. And then I asked her, can I DM you? And she was like, yeah, sure. And she said, she can do the 4th. So I'm very excited. If everything works out, she's gonna be here on April 4th, and it's gonna be sick because I loved her commentary as well. She's a lovely person too. So yeah, that's for that's for the people that are here right now. I'm not gonna say it on Twitter just yet because I don't want to knock myself and don't want to make it official yet. But if everything goes well, on the 4th of April, Romanova is going to be on Trash Talkers.
That's going to be sick. It's going to be very, very cool.
So hit that follow button.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. You're like also like one of the biggest guests we've had so far. If you look at Twitter follower count, that is.
Which is the finest metric.
Yeah,
I just make fart jokes and stream, man. That's all I do. I am effectively retired from Dragon Ball until offline is back. Like I don't.
I heard people calling that the Strive waiting room.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, look, Dragon Ball, I love it, but I haven't cared about it since March of last year because offline is gone. my entire focus during nationals was to like get my son ready and get Jonathan to win the tournament, and then it happened, and I was like, cool, I still got it, and then I backed off. Like, you do what you do.
Every time I hear say something like when you say Jonathan, I'm like, is he talking about Jonathan 10A or is he talking about Cloud?
No, I'm definitely talking about Jonathan 10A. If I meant Cloud, I'll say Cloud, or if I mean 10A, I'll say my son. One of the two.
I mean, I would love having Cloud on the show as well. I think because I mean, his stream is like arguably one of the more entertaining Dragon Ball streams. IMO.
It's definitely the biggest one on the West Coast.
So I would love to have him on the show as well, but of course it's Cloud. He's always busy. So,
absolutely.
But we'll see.
It's a content grind.
Yeah, dude.
So if you're in the Strive waiting room, who are you looking to play in Strive, Kuba?
Me? There's a 99% chance I play Anji. Because he's a stance character with guard point and he's a gorilla, and I refuse to play Leo because he will ruin me. He will just ruin me as a person.
You gotta play C4.
Be this? You don't want to be this.
C4IQ.
I'm an aspire
characters that like fit me too well. Like, and if I ever play those characters, they will make me a worse fighting game player. I might mop at that game, but I'll never be able to switch between games ever again, and I don't want to do that. Like the best example of that is like Jonathan and I have had multi-hour-long discussions about why I should not play Z Broly. Like there is no world that I should ever play Z Broly. That character will ruin me. Same with UI Goku. Like I can't do it. So I'm playing either Anji or I'm going to probably play Soul Bad Guy. I really liked Mei in the beta, but I think Mei is going to end up falling off. So that's just in my head, like off of what I experienced in the beta. I think that everything's in flux right now. Everything doesn't really matter, like balance-wise, as of what we know, because everything's getting changed and the game got delayed. But Anji is who I'm most interested in. After that, it's going to be Soul.
Nice. Actually, we got a couple more minutes. We got a couple more minutes. Yeah, I misjudged the time. Anyway, yeah, I was gonna ask you, Kuba. You are like our resident. Oh, you and C4 are basically our resident Skullgirls players at this point. As a person that mostly only played Dragon Ball for the last 3.5 years, how easy is it to get into Skullgirls? Or like, is it easy to get into Skullgirls? If so, like, what do I need to do to get into that game? Besides playing it. Just playing.
www.playskullgirls.com will give you everything you need. If you go to playskullgirls.com, it gives you a link to the wiki, which is incredible. Because, like, for context, I picked up Skullgirls 2 weeks ago. Like, I am completely new to this game. Like, I've been streaming it, and I've been playing it, and my hands have been breaking over it, and it's a great game, and I love it with all my heart. But if you want to play Skullgirls, you go to playskullgirls.com. It has a wiki. There is a Discord where the community will be more than happy to help you out. There's a beginner channel and there's character channels. There's team building guides, all of that stuff. But I am going to be honest with you, Skullgirls is hard. It is a hard game. It is a hard game to wrap your head around, especially as somebody coming from Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball is such an Oki-focused game and a very like straightforward offense. Like, okay, I make them block, I 50-50 them. While Skullgirls is, okay, I hit them, and now you're in the mix-up while you're getting comboed, like 8 or 9 times. You're just getting reset over and over and over.
Yeah, what would you compare it to, just to give people an idea?
There is nothing like 1-to-1 like it, but the closest is Marvel 2, in a lot of aspects of it. But once you like play the game for a little bit, you watch some people, and there's plenty of great like beginner streams. I've been streaming it a lot, and people have been learning it, and I run beginner lobbies. DeKillSage has been running a lot of beginner lobbies and explaining the game to a lot of people. There's tons of people doing this. Super Noon's doing it too. A lot of Dragon Ball players. And they will help walk you through the game and kind of understand what's going on. And once you start really knowing what to look for and kind of try out some of the characters and find one that gels with you, the game starts to really make sense. And once the game makes sense, the game is really, really cool.
All right.
Yeah, I can't really answer because I played Skullgirls before Dragon Ball. I played Skullgirls 5 years ago. I wasn't any good then. I wasn't really good until I played Mr. Peck. He was one of the people that was on the team making it. When I was playing, I was playing a few of the guys that I played cross Tekken with, so like 4 or 5 people. This was before Bayo and Robo were out, so I was just playing Squiggly solo. I was playing this thinking, oh yeah, this is cool, interesting. Mechanically, I got drawn to it because you had like people with like Valentine had a lag vial, so she gave the opponent lag. I thought that was the sickest invention mechanically to give to a character like tool wise. And then Squiggly with center stage, where I was like, I don't have to force you in the corner. I can just make a corner. Seems kind of busted to me, so I played her.
Yeah, I remember busted. Like I played like Skullgirls for like 5 or 6 hours when I first bought it. It was still in. Oh, that was back when. Does it still have the endless beta?
Yeah. But you don't need to use it anymore. They've changed it slightly because of the new season thing with Annie.
You play on Skullgirls and you pick beta instead.
Yeah, you just pick beta.
Okay. Because I remember.
I'll say when I was playing the game, I was playing with my friends and I was having fun. Everyone was laughing, and then I played Mr. Peck, and there was a point where well, maybe hopefully everyone here knows, when you learn to ride a bike, you don't know what you did differently to start riding it, but that's what happens in Skullgirls. Nothing makes sense when you play Skullgirls. Like, why did they go for a reset? How was I ever meant to tech that? And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, that makes sense what they did. I just fell back off the bike because I stopped playing for so long. But there is a point where that happens, where you feel like you can never understand everything about the game. When everyone talks about the mechanics like push block guard cancel, when you DHC into level 3s, it uses less bar. Push block, you can't OS anything because you would just get a dash instead. You feel like you have to know all this stuff, but you don't. You just need to play the game. Play someone who's... in most games, I say don't do this, but I think in Skullgirls, you need to play someone who's way better than you to understand the difference between someone at your level and their level. And then you can see the missing link. And that missing link is where you start to learn to ride the bike.
Yes.
In my personal opinion.
I also think it's very, very helpful in Skullgirls when you're starting out to steal a team from somebody else.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
I think that really, really helps because then you don't have to develop any of your own stuff. The game is 10 years old at this point. Every character is developed. So pick somebody else's team, steal some of their stuff. Once you start to understand how everything works, then you can start putting your own flair on it.
For my experience in Skullgirls, I just looked it up on Steam to confirm I've got 5 hours on the game, which were 5 hours spent getting annihilated by good buddies of mine, Big Band and Peacock, and Double as well.
Oh yeah, Double. I remember. She's like the weird nun that can transform into like any character.
Yeah, if you're learning Skullgirls, play Double. She has one combo. It has 45 reset points. You only need the one combo, and you're already a top Skullgirls player with that character.
It's totally universal. Even at top level, you see the same combo. She's so universal. It's so sick.
I'm not even fucking joking. Just
I just looked up what my total playtime is actually in Skullgirls. It's actually 13 hours. Didn't remember I had that many times. Last played August 24th, 2014.
Okay, I'm gonna actually check right now because I know that a week ago I was at 4 hours, and now I'm at 93.
Wow,
Jesus! My man's like eat, sleep, Skullgirls, repeat.
I had to bust out the carpal tunnel braces. I've been playing a lot of Skullgirls.
Anyway, we are at time right now, so we're gonna wrap the show up. Is there anything y'all want to say while you still can before we go into plugging and outros and stuff?
Watch situational damage. Watch it.
Oh, man, he beat me to it. That's my thing. I always do that.
I got you.
Okay. I got me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go follow and subscribe to Kuba.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, thank y'all everyone for watching. But before we go offline, of course, we got the most important part of the show, which is of course plugging. All right. So, Pen, where can we find you, and what do you do?
Y'all can find me on Twitter at PanZerPan. I tweet dumb stuff and occasional video game opinions. I used to stream, and I would like to get back into streaming, but I am a tired boy, so I have not streamed in ages. So you can find me should you wish to. It's all at PanZerPan or twitch.tv/PanZerPan. You can also occasionally find me doing commentary for the big man C4. Only segue there.
Yeah, C4. I know. I'm pretty sure what you're gonna say, but yeah, where can we find you?
I'll do a proper one this time, real quick. So yeah, I am C4IQ. I'm doing a lot of upgrading to my OBS. I'm downloading stuff. I've got a new camera, got a new mic, blah blah blah. So in time for Strife, obviously, when Strife comes out, I'll be doing a lot of stuff for that. Mostly for EU, even though the netcode's gonna let everyone play People on the Moon and shit. Other than that. You follow me if you want on Twitter, if you like to, see people argue and stuff. If you play any of the characters that I main, you'll probably see me in your stream chat. Ask Kuba. If you play Beowulf, Leo, Hawkeye, if anyone actually still plays MVCI, you'll see me in your chat at some point lurking. So, yeah, that's where you'll find me in your stream chats.
All right, nice. And of course, Kuba, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Cooking with Jake, which is I'm that dog with the mustache. That's me right there.
Is that like the kill plan?
Yes. The SoCal boys have gotten insane, and we've made over 40 to kill plan edits. So we have one for every occasion. That's
nice.
This big dad.
Isn't there one for like Jonathan with Bueno?
Yep.
Yeah, Jonathan has the Kinder Bueno one, and that's Jonathan when he won Nationals. He was like, Kuba, I know you don't want to change your profile picture, but if I win Nationals, will you change yours to Desig Dad, and I'll change mine to Kinder Bueno? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Nice.
So that was for him. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KarateKuba. I stream every day, hopefully, at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is about 4 p.m. Central European Time for the EU players that are watching. And then if you live on the East Coast, figure it out, idiot. And if you want to check out my YouTube, where I have a couple of different video essays, I just dropped a Marvel video.
That one's sick. Watch it.
bit.ly/KubaTube, KUBATUBE. And yeah, very much enjoyed this show. This was wonderful. I had a really good time being here.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Probably in the future.
One last thing. Watch Ping Pong the animation. Everybody should watch Ping Pong.
I have no idea what that is, but I will now.
If you are into fighting games or anything competitive, watch Ping Pong the animation. It is an 11-episode anime series. Fucking watch it.
All right.
I'll actually on my list as well. So maybe I'll bump it up.
Bump that boy up.
I want to put that in the Evernotes right now. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, but thank you so much, Kuba, for joining at pretty short notice, like a couple days beforehand. So thank you so much for having the time coming on. I'll probably ask you to come on the show again if I can find a guest or something, because you were very much fun to talk to. And I think I speak for like everyone of us that we had a lot of fun having you on the show as well. Of course, you can find me right here where you are right now, twitch.tv/xjfree. Of course, I am still working on the VODs for last show. I've been very busy with the last couple of weeks with school and having to finish like my project I'm doing right now for school. So yeah, I will try to get this show up as fast as possible. I'm also looking into getting up the podcast as an audio as well, just so you can like check it out on like I don't know, your favorite podcasting app or maybe even Spotify. But yeah, that apparently costs money, so I'm kind of looking into something I can arrange with that. Maybe there's a free hosting site. I think I found one, but I'll announce it on Twitter if there's a audio only format that you can find somewhere. Of course, if you want to watch the earlier shows, it's XJFree on YouTube or just JFree, or look for Trash TalkerZ with a Z show, Trash TalkerZ podcast on YouTube. You'll probably find it, and I think they're like 6 or 7 episodes on YouTube right now, so if you want to watch the other ones, you can go there. And of course, once again, we're going to be back on April 4th, and if everything goes well, we got the one and only Romanova coming on the show, talking about some Dragon Ball, talking about what I want to talk about with her was like talking a little bit about how it's like working with Bamco, and how it's like commentating on arguably the biggest Dragon Ball Fighter stage on the world. So if you don't want to miss that, drop a follow right now. And I want to thank everyone for the support I've received over the last few months. Like the last few months, when it comes to numbers-wise and streaming, has been the biggest in my entire Twitch career, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for the support. I love it. I love doing the show, and I love speaking to these wonderful people every other week. So thank you once again, everyone, for watching. And see you guys in 2 weeks.